The discoveries that I've received show that the world is arranged differently, that humanity has built artificial laws and lives according to them, and these laws contradict the laws of the universe, hence all our troubles, hence all our destruction, self-destruction, destruction of our neighbours, and so on. Well, let's take it all step by step. July 1971. A day as clear as today, but very windy. Strong wind. I'm standing at the window because I still have 20 minutes before I'll work on the electronic computing machine. I have time, I have nothing to do, I'm waiting for my time. The window is on the top floor of the building. It overlooks the Izhevsk reservoir. This is a huge reservoir, and on it, waves. Meter waves with white crests, strong wind. The pier, I can see it. And now a pleasure boat departs from the pier. Usually it U-turns and leaves. But this time, this boat made a very long trail, a long U-turn. It left this V on the water and left. Well, I wondered why it was turning like that. There was no point in turning in such a way. And the trace. 10 minutes have passed, 15, 20, 25. The boat has already disappeared behind the cape of the forest. It, the boat, is no longer there, but I still see the trace. We all know the Russian proverb, as it is written on the water with a pitchfork. That is, there should be no trace, but I see a trace. This surprised me a lot. 20 minutes have passed, there are waves on the reservoir, and I can see the trace. But then I was invited to the machine, and I left, I forgot, I worked. And already at 6 p.m., leaving for home, I went to take my notebooks, and my eyes accidentally fell out the window, and I was dumbfounded, because I saw the trace left by the ship at 9 o'clock that morning. It was preserved in its original form. It had not spread over the surface, had not shifted to the side, had not become less noticeable. While the wind had intensified during the day, the waves had become larger, the crests had increased, but still, I see the trace. It was a shock for me. I understood that the 4 years of the Institute had not given me the possibility to explain this phenomenon. And this is the beginning of my scientific career throughout my life. I realized that this is a global enigma of nature, that the trace contains a mystery. And it took me 25 years to solve this mystery. I'm a factory engineer. After completing the 5th year, I completed my pre-diploma practice at the same plant, was assigned to this plant, and worked at this plant for 13 years. I created industrial robots, robotic lines, flexible production systems, and these systems still work at many factories in Udmurtia. But this is my visible activity. All my degrees have been earned for this visible, so to speak, industrial activity. But my true scientific work was to decipher this trace. Sometimes I even caught myself wondering if this was not an obsession. I spend so much time on it, and what will the solution give me? Well, say I solve what this trace on the water is. Where am I going to apply it? And the results? Where to take them? Doubt gripped as to whether it was worth continuing to engage in this. But I engaged in it. As soon as my brain was free from current affairs, I inevitably returned to this task and continued to solve it. I built computer models of this process. I simulated on a computer the processes occurring in the water in order to understand their essence. In May 1981, that is, I started in July 1971, and this is May 1981, another computer model gave me the answer that the trace on the water is not a physical phenomenon, but an informational one. For me, it was a second shock, that matter is not primary in the universe, but information. Information is the basis of the world order. That information, formed in the depths of the universe, gives a program according to which matter is packed into a certain type of state. The subtle material state of the world, densely material, superdensely material. This is not matter. This is energy in a superdense state. For the entire, so to speak, 300-year history, modern science investigates and studies the effect and gets the effect squared. We believe that we receive truths, but it turns out that we are not investigating the root cause, not information, but we are examining the effect, the result. And we interpret this as the next truth. And then experiments show that this is not so. And we put forward the next truths, and so on ad infinitum. The model showed that water is a great storehouse of information. Any information about everything. And if you learn to read information from the water, you can get any information up to the structure of the universe. Water stores in itself this information because, according to the holographic laws of the universe, an element of the system contains in it information about the entire system. Water is an element of the system, therefore it contains information about the structure of the universe. We have grown accustomed to the fact that water is a good solvent. It dissolves everything. In everything there is water. Why does it dissolve? Well, good chemical parameters, quality. No, my friends, this is not why water is a good solvent, but because water contains in it programs of restructuring other substances, information on destructuring. If there is such a program in it, then water reacts with the substance, interacts. If there is no such program, then water does not interact with the substance. Programs, information. That is why it is an excellent solvent, because information is primary in the universe. Remember Einstein's formula, school course. Energy is mass times the speed of light squared. Yes, indeed it is. But Einstein was a materialist. For him, matter was primary. Therefore, this formula can be written in this way. But I discovered that matter is a result, it is an effect, that information is primary. Therefore, without breaking mathematical laws, I can rewrite this formula. Can I? I can. And what happens? That is, matter is energy compacted c squared times, 90 billion times. In order to get a drop of matter, to receive a drop of matter, you need to possess a lake of energy. From this lake of energy, we get a drop of matter. Here we have the basics of the world order. Here we have two ratios on which the entire universe is built. But what did the materialistic scientists fail to see in this formula? Well, they didn't see this formula either, of course, because they couldn't see it in principle. Didn't see the basics. This is the energy component, this ratio. They did not see the main component, the informational one, of the program of formation. This is the explosion formula, without the program. This is the formula of ungoverned energy flows. The explosion is atomic, nuclear, not governed by anything. Here we have the foundations. The governing program which makes energy out of matter, and the governing program which makes matter out of energy. Program, information, foundations. So I'm engaged in this. I'm engaged in the study of the foundations of the universe, the study of informational foundations, the cause. And all modern materialistic science is engaged in the effect, the result. And it cannot deduce the cause. It is not possible to obtain the cause from the effects. That is why we have come to such a deplorable state, both in science and in everything. I conducted a very interesting experiment with water. Water is a global storage of information. And since it is an element of the universe, it means that it contains in itself information about the structure of the universe. I was able to bring water, as an informational energetic formation, to a borderline phase state, to saturate it energetically, so that it manifests this structure of the universe. I approached this experiment for a very long time. I conducted it. Temperature, time. 100 degrees. According to the exponential law, for 2.5 hours, I brought the water to the boil. 2.5 hours. But not like us, we put the pot on the stove, 5 minutes, and it's boiled. I needed something else. I needed to energetically bring this water into the state. And at a temperature of 97, 98 degrees, the water in the vessel appeared before me with such a structure. Both the vessel and the honeycomb are drawn in full size. Two and a half, 3 centimeters diagonally in size. Here it is, the structure of our universe. Using all the experimental data, using mathematical ratios, a model of the universe was built. And what is our universe? Our universe is such a material formation. It consists of a governing core and a governing system of enclosed informational energy flows. The governing core, informational energetic, and the governing system of enclosed informational energy flows, enclosed flows. And since they are enclosed, then the universe is finite. The universe is finite. The flows are enclosed. This is the first shocking position. We have been convinced all our lives that it's endless, that it's chaotically scattered and expanding even more chaotically. The model has shown that this is not the case. That is, the universe is the same living being and has a conscious core that governs and coordinates the development of the universe. And enclosed systems of life support, as I am, a person. Circulatory system, lymphatic, digestive, the same here. These systems. But this is a conditional image of the flow, a petal. Here are 7 petals. In reality, there are billions of them. And this is not a petal, but this is the most complex informational energetic formation. Each of these petals represents such an informational energetic structure. The governing core, a vortex informational energetic flow flows out of the core. A vortex, a spatial spiral, it reaches the periphery of the universe, and along the spiral of other parameters returns to the core for regeneration. The outflowing flow of creative energy, and the return flow of used energy into the core for regeneration and destructuring, and for reprogramming. This is the life of the universe. 2 counter streams, life and death. Life goes on from here, and the used substance goes to regeneration. That is, the core is also an energy reactor. The model showed that the universe is multi-layered. Here is shown one energy riser, as I call it, informational energy riser. But you can imagine that there are billions of them along the sphere. So, using the example of this one, we will consider everything. On this riser, galaxies, galactic layers are located. The first layer, the second layer, the third layer, and the galaxy of each layer is tied to this riser. First, second, third, fourth, 33rd. There are 33 galactic layers in the universe today. Look what this riser looks like. Our spine, right? How many vertebrae does a person have? 33. So what is a person? A micro-universe. When there are 34 layers in the universe, a person will have 34 vertebrae. It will be a different person, transformed, with a different materiality, with different abilities. Maybe that person will build that paradise on earth, to which you and I stubbornly strived, but changed our path due to our materialistic ignorance, and did not reach it. Due to the ignorance of the universe, due to the ignorance of the laws of the Creator. The model showed that the universe is a living being, that it's grown like a child. It grows. And each galactic layer is formed right here, near the core. Its informational energetic structure is laid, and along this riser it begins to move upward along the spiral. From the core it moves away. When it has moved away at a critical distance, informational energetic fields of the next galactic layer begin to form here. And it also begins to move away. The next one follows, and it also begins to move away. Today there are 33 layers, but as the model shows, the foundation of 34 layers of the galactic layer has already been being laid, now. The model showed that there is global order in the universe. If we could look along the normal from top to bottom, from here towards the core, at all these rises, and you know that there is the first, second, third, and so on, that is, looking along the normal, we would see such a structure. Here they are, honeycombs. That is, all these rises with galaxies in different layers, they are tied into a honeycomb. They are at the tops of the hexagons. If we link these two drawings, combine them, then we get a piece of the universe. Here it is, our universe. A rigid, energetic structure with global order, with no chaos. Everything is governed and everything is coordinated. And when 25 years ago I read in the Bible, and God made the firmament and called the firmament heaven, well, it was wild to me. How could heaven, the sky, be firmament? Here it is, the firmament. Highly energetic structure of the universe. It is indeed an energetic firmament. If we had the opportunity to move away from our universe at a great distance and look from the side, we would see such a beautiful picture. This is a part, a sector of the universe. Here it is, a multi-layered universe. Here there are 3 layers, but between them there are 30 more missing. Order, global order. And you might say, why do we see chaotically scattered stars in the sky? And why does our science convince us that there is a mess? Because our astronomy is an observational science. It translates to us what it sees through the telescope. It sees chaos, disorderly scattered stars. Therefore, there is chaos in the universe. But why do we see it? It is because we live here, on the periphery of the universe, in the 33rd layer, at one of the last volutions of the galactic spiral, and our angle of view gives us the opportunity to see only chaos. If we could move over here and look from here, we would see this. But we live in such a place that in principle we cannot see it. And since we do not see it, then it does not exist. The principle of materialistic science. If a phenomenon is observable and measurable, then it exists. If it is not observable and not measurable, then it does not exist. It's extremely simple. I don't see it, it doesn't exist. This global ignorance of ours, of our thinking, of our consciousness, has led us to a dead end, all of humanity. Where are you and me in this global universe? I showed you, on the periphery of the universe. Here it is, the 33rd layer. This is our Milky Way. And order is in everything. Pay attention to one more thing. The first galactic layer, the galaxy of the first layer, has one volution of the galactic spiral. On the second galactic layer, there are 2 volutions of the galactic spiral. On the third, 3. On the 33rd, 33 volutions of the galactic spiral. And now on the 32nd volution of the galactic spiral, the Milky Way of our galaxy. Here is us. Here is our solar system, our sun. Look at the following pattern. All galaxies are located along the normal. They are perpendicular to the ascending informational energetic flow. Perpendicular, strictly. In the same way, the spiral of the solar system is perpendicular to the galactic flow. Moreover, the model showed that the solar system is a microcopy of the galactic system. That is, the galactic spiral is completely repeated in our solar system. It turns out that our planets do not revolve around the Sun in autonomous elliptical circles, in independent ones, but are located on the volutions of a single spiral of the solar system. This is a single spiral, and all the planets are on the volutions of this single spiral. This is where the global interconnection and mutual influence of all the planets of the solar system and the Sun on each planet of the solar system comes from. Global interconnection is in everything. We cut out this square, we enlarge it, and we get this picture. This is our solar system. The galactic flow, informational energetic, spins the solar system into a spiral similar to itself, the galactic flow. And here are our planets. They are all located on the volutions of a single spiral. Well, I have put them in the planetary parade. In fact, there is no such parade. They are located in different places, but on different volutions of a single spiral. And this explains everything. All the patterns that modern science has classified as anomalies, without being able to explain, are deciphered by this model. The model showed the mechanism of the formation of planets in the solar system. It turns out that the planets of the solar system are grown in the same way as the galactic layers are grown. This mechanism is extremely simple. The galactic informational energetic flow carries out dense energy from the Sun, arranges it in the form of a ring, and this ring is located in the critical zone of formation, a rigidly fixed zone around the Sun. We calculated it, we defined it. This dense energy is pulled into the core. Information, a program of future material formation, is inscribed in this core. And this future planet, this clot of information and energy in a spiral begins to move away from the Sun, densifying and increasing its mass. When the planet has moved away from the Sun at a critical distance, a ring of the next planet begins to form here. And it again begins to spiral away from the Sun, and so on. That is, Pluto was the first, Mercury, here it is, it has just left this zone, having become a planet. When Mercury has moved away from the Sun at a critical distance, the next planet will appear here, necessarily. This is the life of the universe. You cannot enter the same river twice. The ancients knew these laws. So as of today, I have deciphered 108 anomalies. Not me, the model. And I'm sure there are 1,008 more. I just don't know about them. I'll give you an example so you understand what I'm talking about. I recently received the Anomaly magazine. There is a special magazine, Anomaly, but you probably know. It says, an anomaly of 3 centuries, Venus. Well, Venus, woman. All planets rotate around their axis in one direction, and Venus in the opposite direction. Well, she is a woman. She wants to rotate in the opposite direction. Why she rotates in the opposite direction is not clear. For 300 years, modern science cannot answer why Venus rotates in the opposite direction. It is elementary and simple, because with the Creator everything is simple, because He is a genius. He is the Creator. Here is our Sun. Here is the spiral of the solar system, but it is not flat. After all, you clearly understand that this spiral is also voluminous. This is our Earth. And on another volution of the spiral, the same spiral, but on the opposite, Venus. And see what happens. Here is the direction of the informational energetic flow, and the Earth rotates in this direction. And when it goes over to this volution, then Venus naturally rotates in this direction relative to Earth. But relative to the flow, she rotates in one and the same direction. They are simply on opposite volutions of one and the same spiral, and that's it. And no problem. And no anomalies. That is, all our anomalies are the ignorance of our consciousness. This is ignorance of the structure of the universe. This is ignorance of the presence of God in the universe, the ignorance of His laws. Look, what is the angle of 24 degrees with the Earth? Where did it come from? Well, scientists have recorded that the angle to the ecliptic is 24 degrees. They recorded it, but where did it come from? How was it formed? It's very simple. You can see everything. Look here. This is the angle of entry of the informational energetic harness into our planet. Angle of entry. Venus has -5. We have +24. Uranus. Uranus is an inverted planet. Here it is. Its north is lower than the south, 96 degrees to the ecliptic. That is why. It is just fixed here. That's why it's an inverted planet. For 300 years, our astronomy could not give an answer as to why Uranus is an inverted planet. Everything is extremely simple, and so on and so forth. The same mechanism lies at the basis of the formation of planetary satellites. Here is our Earth, here is our Moon. Had you and I been on Jupiter at the moment of the formation of our Moon, we would have seen such a ring of condensed energy above the Earth. We are now seeing the same ring with Saturn. That is, you and I live in a momentous time, during the formation of a satellite near Saturn. The ring is a future satellite. What is the purpose of creation of a satellite for the planet? But you already see the mechanism. The planet is constantly spiraling away from the Sun and constantly increasing its mass. It introduces the solar system into an imbalance. But the Creator is wise. He originally inscribed a program into the core, according to which a satellite should be formed at a certain distance, a balancer, a compensator. When a wheel starts to beat on my car, an imbalance, I go to the mechanic, he hangs weights on it. That is, what is he doing? He normalizes the mechanical system of my wheel. That's what the planet needs a satellite for, a balancing beam. Everything is foreseen initially. And when they tell me that the universe is formed by an explosion, the original bang, well, I don't even want to speculate on this topic now. I say, then tell me, is it possible to build such a global order and govern it with an explosion? After all, it is not only created like this, it is also constantly grown in this structure. How can such a global order be achieved by an explosion? without global governance and global coordination. I write in my book that if we assume that such a global order can be created with the help of an explosion, then I argue that a spaceship can be built with the help of a spacecraft factory explosion. This is the same. I discovered 8 laws of the universe, completely different, which revealed the world in a different way. Using these laws, we have created a technological unit that programs water, and this water dissolves river sand. This water dissolves gold. Water, plain water, programmed to dissolve gold, to dissolve river sand. What have we got? We got a fundamentally new construction industry, a cementless construction complex, no need for cement. Sand was dissolved, the excess water was evaporated, a gel was obtained, the gel was formed, dried in a tunnel microwave oven, and a block, slab, panel were obtained which are 3 times stronger than concrete. Any questions? No questions. We have a lot of directions. We carried out physical experiments of converting cosmic energy into electrical energy, converting cosmic energy into energy of shaft rotation. What we have laughed at all our lives, a perpetual motion machine, became a possibility for us at the level of a physical experiment. That is, until the implementation of this, another 20 years will pass before living, let's say, engines in cars. But fundamentally, we obtained new energetics, new equipment, new technologies, techniques. We have theoretically proved that from information and energy, in a certain technological installation, it is possible to grow a part, a material part, from information and energy, without ore, without electricity. What is the Creator doing? He forms planets, galaxies, satellites, people, from information and energy. From what? From information and energy. Possessing the informational laws of the universe, it is possible to build a new way of human existence. Tell me, can today's humanity, with its level of spirituality, be given this great knowledge, these super technologies? What will it do? Super weapon in an instant, straight away, immediately, instantly. Therefore, everything that we discovered, we stopped working in engineering areas, except for sand, and all our work was directed towards education, towards raising the spiritual level of man, only here. And when humanity rises to the level where it will be possible to give this knowledge, people will come who will give it.